I'm Kelsey Heather, joined again by Mary Anastasia O'Grady, who writes the America's column for the Wall Street Journal. And Mary, both John McCain and Barack Obama have some plans that they would implement to help bring more stability to Latin American countries. Are any of those plans feasible when you take a look at them?
The problem is that they're both talking about doing a lot of things from Washington for Latin America. And Obama's plans involve spending a lot of money. He's actually put some price tags out there. John McCain is talking more theoretically, but he talks a lot about security and strengthening their economies and so forth. But my point this week is that there's not a lot Washington can do for Latin America in a lot of the fundamental things that these countries have to do for themselves.
And what really attracts capital to these countries, bringing countries in to invest in these regions?
This is the problem that I kind of tried to get at this week in my column, is that, you know, these countries need secure property rights and secure protection of contracts. And until they do that, and that's a matter of political will from inside the countries, until they do that, it's very hard to attract capital. And I'm not talking just about foreign capital, I'm talking about locals, because locals who have money can either invest locally or they can put their money in another country. So we're talking about capital coming from anywhere. It's not going to stay in a country if there are not secure property rights.
And does the government oppose some of these property rights? And wouldn't it make sense for the government to want to bring in more jobs, want to bring in more money from whether it's local or foreign?
Well, you know, this week I talked about El Salvador, because El Salvador had been a great reformer in the late 90s and the early part of this decade, really strengthening property rights and doing a lot of things to welcome capital. And right now the government of Tony Saca is actually sending out very negative signals towards investors. And I wrote about a gold mine in El Salvador where the company, Pacific Rim Mining Corp, has invested $77 million and still does not have its permits. And the government basically will admit that all of its environmental work has been done, but it does not admit this, but it apparently is afraid of the far left, which is against mining development in the country. So it is not giving the permits to Pacific Rim, and the whole market is sort of seeing that El Salvador is not welcoming capital.
And so if the government does not sort of let this come in or give those permits, and let's say political things shift down there, could another political party come into power that they may not actually, or we may not want to see happen?
Yeah, I mean, there's a real problem for El Salvador right now, because the FMLN, which is the former guerrilla group, Marxist guerrilla group, is now a political party, and there are elections in March, and they can easily say to the Salvadoran people, you know what? This party of Arenero, which is the center-right party, has not delivered for you on the economy, and you should throw them out of office for that reason. And if they do that and the left wins, I just think it's very important that we understand that this is not a repudiation by the Salvadoran people of market economics. This is the Salvadoran people saying, if you don't give us results in the economy, we're going to vote for your competitors.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I've been speaking with Mary Anastasia O'Grady.
Hablemos del futuro de nuestro país y del empleo en 30 segundos. Empleo. Con este equipo, la inversión extranjera viene. Vienen más empresas y vienen más empleos para ti. Con este otro equipo, la inversión extranjera se va. Se van las empresas y empleo no habrá, pero para nadie. Y el futuro, pues tú lo decides.